Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real.
Greetings and salutations, all my friends out there in internet land. I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of being the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. We're going to have a great time today. Guess who we got back? Guess who we got back? Lyndsea Peele has come back to join us, a friend of the show. So yeah, we're gonna have y'all know how we do here. I told y'all I know dope people, and apparently they know me and like me too enough to keep coming back and talking to me. So I'm excited. She's gonna tell us some of the stuff, but that she and Kingdom Visions are doing, and an event coming up. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Show notes. Remember, show notes. Hi. How are you guys doing today? All right. Well, I want to give a big shout out to the super producer, Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan, and our assistant producer, Brandy Raymar. That's where I get my show notes. You see what I'm saying? They give me feedback so I can be a better host. I'm grateful to them. It's always great to have somebody on your side. Make sure that you check out the links below in the description, or check us out on BlackUSA.news, so you can be a guest too. If you have something that's going on in the community, or if you're having a positive impact, or if you have some struggles that you want to get some feedback from the community and from our audience on, please make sure you click the link and fill out the application and form so that you can be a guest on Black USA News. Make sure also you go through and check out our sponsors. We trying to make it easy for y'all, because y'all actually look at me and you're like, oh my God, look what he's doing. He always talking about the edible arrangements like this. Look at this. Look at this. That's edible arrangements. Look what I got. See that? I talk about that. And I know you all can't get it. So I got some feedback. Part of my show notes. See, I pay attention. Show notes is to make sure that you all know that you can get access to our sponsors in the links in the description. So make sure you all do that. And last but not least, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Like, please do that. Like, how much does it cost you? Like, what you see? Look, bing. See, look at that. It's like, just look. Yeah, look at the screen. Bing. Just all you have to do. You could do that a couple times. Like and subscribe. The reason that we like you to do that is that it's a way that you can show support for Black USA News and African American owned and operated businesses, especially in media. It doesn't cost you a lot, but it has a significant impact on the channel. And if you don't remember, we talked about algorithms in the previous show, so go back and check those out so you understand how the algorithm works. But okay, I think I got through all of my show notes. I gotta remember when Lyndsae is coming. When Lyndsae comes on, that I have to let her introduce herself and don't just keep talking. Okay, I'm just making sure. Like and subscribe. Make sure okay, we did that part. Oh, because I'm trying to get it all the way. You know, like when you were a little kid and your parents say, like, oh, look, you can't have any dessert until you eat your meal. And you're like, I don't like these. And you're like, well, you still have to eat them. So, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I just finished eating my peas, and now I get to have dessert with Lyndsea Peele. Yay! Hey, Lyndsea, how you doing?
Hello, friend. Hello. I am doing amazing. Listen, I always enjoy being backstage, just listening to you open up the show. If they aren't ready, the time strikes, to join, you make sure that they get ready. And I always appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming back. We always have so much fun. And see, this is the thing I keep telling them. Like, we're going to have to just get a whole new show about the conversations before the show. Like, there's a whole show about that. But my show notes say, don't forget that nobody heard you before the show started. So, because they know how we do. Like, I tell them, I debrief the team, and they're like, okay. And so they watch the show, and they're like, you started talking about something, but they didn't have a reference point. I was like, well, yep. And they're like, okay. I was like, oh, and they write it down. And then I come and I go show notes and I try to remember so I could be a better host. I want to have quality programming for our audience.
Yes, sir. I'm here for it. I am here for it. I am always, always, always looking forward to being a part of your show. Listen, they gave you the perfect role for this.
Oh, thank you. All right. So now again, show notes, they said there are I know you, but
Yeah,
there are people who do not know you. I
yes.
don't understand what they're doing with their lives, to be quite frank and earnest. It does not sound like you make good decisions if we're going to be honest about it, if you don't know Lyndsay Peele. But I'm not going to be judgmental. There was called mine COVID, so I'll excuse this right now. But Lyndsay, tell them about yourself.
You make my cheeks hurt smiling so hard. Hello, everyone. My name is Lyndsay Peele. I am the founder and principal consultant at Kingdom Vision Consulting. We are a financial services firm that specializes in CEO financial planning, specifically for entrepreneurs of color. And we do that by focusing on 5 key areas of finance known as class, creditworthiness, long-term wealth, asset protection, strategic banking relationships, and strategic asset accumulation. I am also the radio show host for the Real Deal Radio Show, where we provide resources, empathy, accountability, and literacy to improve the overall wealth journey for the Black entrepreneur. We meet you at the intersection of faith, family, and finances. Make sure you tune in every single Thursday morning at 9 a.m. on iHeartRadio by going to WDRB Media.
I love it when you do that every time. I love it when you do that every time. It's so awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna probably get a show note about being silly this next one. So it's whatever. So because if I'm gonna get the note, we're gonna enjoy the note. Damn it. All right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I don't want to miss the opportunity to make sure that people understand specifically what you have going on right now. Because again, I pay attention to my notes. I know how this could go. So I want to get out of the way up front.
Yes.
What are you working on? And I'm excited for you to tell them about it. But sorry.
So a lot of great things. Well, first of all, this is going to be my first public announcement that Kingdom Vision, my company, Kingdom Vision Consulting, we are an award-winning firm. So we just won the Financial Services Champion Award from the SBA District Baltimore's office for 2022.
Oh, we're gonna have to get an applause track in here. We gotta upgrade my studio because this is congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so awesome.
Thank you. We are growing, we are building. And most people know, so Kingdom Vision Consulting and the Real Deal Radio Show, they are sister companies up under my financial firm, my holistic firm, Kingdom Vision Enterprises, LLC. I just typically use the trade name. So we are super excited. We were nominated by one of our CDFI partners. Thank you so much to our partners. This would not have been possible without them. We do a lot of work with women's business centers across the state of Maryland, the Baltimore Metropolitan WBC, also the one in Salisbury, hosted by Maryland Capital Enterprises, and really making sure that small business owners who may or may not be able to tap into my services outside of a referral partner, that they still get to experience me. So even, wrapping up now Q2, crazy how time flies, but Q1, we spent, a number of months working specifically with those women.
I'm sorry, real quick. Q1 and Q2 for those who are not familiar with business parlance is what.
Yes. Q1, the first 3, months of the year, Q2, April, May, June.
Okay.
And we just finished this partnership with them where the SBA sponsored subject matter experts to work with entrepreneurs, specifically women entrepreneurs through their Women's Business Center. And they were positioned to work with us for at least, we're up to 4 sessions that was completely free. So wow. You had myself and my accounting partner, Charmaine Davis. We covered the accounting, bookkeeping, and financial planning. You had marketing experts, etc. These women's business centers, these community development financial institutions, and other nonprofit organizations that support the small business community, like they offer so many types of programs that a lot of times we do not know exist. So I definitely recommend, if you are a woman in business, Definitely search, Women's Business Center to figure out which one is the closest to you in proximity. If you're in the Baltimore area, then the Baltimore Metropolitan would be the closest to you if you are in Salisbury or on that Eastern Shore. But also, if you are in the service area of Baltimore City, you can tap into MCE as well, that Women's Business Center, because they also sponsor, not sponsor, but they also provide lending solutions to business owners within the Baltimore area. So a lot of great work that's happening, within our small business community, especially now, still by technicality, we are still within a pandemic, right? So we want to make sure that we are tapping into these resources, because these organizations, they get money to provide programming to our small business owners. And a lot of times the programming that they are providing does not cost you as the business owner anything. You can tap into complimentary mentorship. There are trainings, workshops, etc. Plus the subject matter expert program that we just wrapped up this previous quarter. So super excited about that. Also, we have a few events coming up, right? So this is event season for sure. I love April, because April is National Financial Literacy Month.
Yes.
I fell in love with the month, while I was working at the bank, and we did so much outreach during this month of the year. So on April 28th, we are hosting Let's Talk Sis, a chat about finances. And this is in partnership with one of my accounting partners, Miss Anika Winstead of Watt Business Solutions.
Big up, Anika. Big up, Anika.
And the amazing thing is that we are actually having our event moderated by one of our mutual clients, Miss Ayana Woods of Fancy Free Hair and Skin. So we are shaking it up. We are bringing two powerhouse women, an accountant as well as a financial consultant, myself, to the table to really give women, but also men, to register. We definitely encourage that. Some real talk around money, the conversations that we typically just do not have at the dinner table, conversations that we typically do not partake in at a lot of events, because a lot of times events aren't catered specifically to us and our needs, our desires, our challenges. So super excited about that. I will make sure that we drop that link within the comments for you guys, but it is going to be on April 28th at 6:00 p.m. Okay. You can also go to my page on Instagram, and the link will be in my bio. So super excited about that. And I think, I get a little long-winded, but one of my
go with it.
Is that having a client actually moderate that, it's going to give the audience an opportunity to hear firsthand from a client, what is it like working with an accountant? What is it like having a financial consultant as a part of your financial dream team? And especially as, Ayana and her company, Fancy Free Hair and Skin, has been evolving. Shout out to Ayana, both, and Anika. They both just completed the Goldman Sachs 10K Small Business Program.
Oh, yay!
Listen, y'all have award-winning consultants, accountants, and business owners out here really bringing the information to the street. So super excited about that. Another event that I am ecstatic about, on Saturday, April 30th, from 10 to 12 p.m., O'Hara Development Partners will be hosting our housing seminar in partnership with NHS Baltimore, hosted in the metaverse by Brick Rose Exchange.
Oh,
listen.
Big up to Bianca and Brick Rose.
Yes, next level. Bianca is super awesome. If you don't know her, then you need to know her. She actually has a physical event space in Canton, Baltimore. But as I guess the metaverse scene re-entered, our sphere, she instantly jumped back in.
Yes, she did.
Know that she's a Pulitzer Prize winner. Right?
Wait. No, I'm sorry. Wait. I gotta stop you right there.
Yes.
I don't know who you think you're talking to. My audience is aware we had her on here. Okay, baby. She was up on here telling us all the good stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. And just to kind of see her navigate this space so beautifully, so gracefully, but also
Hmm.
bringing other entrepreneurs who look like us along the journey with her. You know, she's on a mission to teach us how to be, some of the first in our industries operating within the metaverse. So
Hmm.
having a great relationship with Bianca, and I was like, you know what, I think we need to tap into this. So most people who don't know, O'Hare Development Partners, we are a community development real estate firm where we transform decayed properties into beautiful, beautiful homes for the Baltimore community. We also have a CDC that focuses on housing development, financial literacy,
Wait a
and
minute, a CDC? What do you have to do with COVID?
Sorry. That's right. Catch me. Get me right. Get me right. And we focus heavily on home ownership, financial wellness, and green space development. So we're actually developing a park right now. Super excited about that. We are, of course, still renovating homes in East Baltimore. We just wrapped up our raise where we allow community members to actually invest in their own community because way too often we have developers that come in and develop our communities and we don't have a say so, and our opinions are not included. So a lot of times they don't even really give us what we want. But
Right.
because we're very unique, we are a community development firm focused on the people first. We
Hmm.
include
Hmm.
everything, including, what to name the park. What do you want the park to be used for? So,
Right.
um, a, the biggest piece about this housing seminar is that we are preparing people to become, homeowners, and we have wraparound services. So think of NACA, right? Just think of NACA. Um,
NACA?
think of NACA, which is a housing program, a national housing
Okay.
program that walks you through the step of purchasing a
Oh,
home.
yeah, 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 yeah. Gotcha,
We're
gotcha,
just
gotcha.
right, just on a smaller scale. So we have
Got it. Okay.
services, completely in-house services. So you have O'Hare Development Partners, the CDC, who kind of we are the host ultimately, but we're in partnership with NHS Baltimore, National Housing Services of Baltimore, that actually takes you through the home ownership training, the credit counseling, making sure that you are financially prepared. We also have our own real estate agents who are a part of the team where you automatically have an agent who will help you find a home. And while we develop some of our own homes, you do
Hmm.
not have to just purchase, from us. You can purchase anywhere within the city of Baltimore. And with all of our partnerships, they can offer you up to $43,000 in down payment assistance. So
Wow.
definitely encourage people to take advantage of the program because everybody on our team looks like us, right? So we are supporting our people in this process of becoming homeowners, creating that part of your legacy. We know that historically in our communities, a part of how we pass down wealth is through real estate, through home ownership.
Right. Right.
Um, Super excited, and it's in the metaverse, so we are helping to bridge that digital divide, right, between us
Yo.
and what's happening in the AR VR world. So super excited, a lot of great things happening. Definitely looking forward to seeing some amazing results. On Saturday at the event, people will actually see and hear from one of our participants last year who closed on his home. He moved from DC to the beautiful city of Baltimore. Yes, you do not have to live in Baltimore to take advantage of this program, but you have to be moving into Baltimore.
Okay. Okay.
And my brother went to the closing table with less than $100. That's lunch money, right? So
Wow. I'm
take
sorry.
advantage.
Let me make sure. No, no, because I get confused easy. You know, I get confused easy. Let me make sure I understand what you said. You said my man bought a house for $100.
He came to the closing table for less than $100.
I
So
understand, but like cash out of hand, all the cash I needed to buy a house is $100.
for closing,
Yeah.
so for people who don't know, right?
Okay.
So before you even get to closing,
Woo, you made me nervous.
right, there are some expenses that
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm talking about that closing. Like, okay, yeah.
right. But at closing, he literally signed like his documents. It was less than $100.
Actually, I'm sorry. I need to make sure they understand. Did y'all see how she did that though? And see, this is why you work with somebody who knows what they're talking about. Because the point that I made would have been easy for somebody else just to pass over and just say, "Oh, I understand what he meant." So boom. But she was like, "No, I'm not going to let that go because I need to make sure people are understanding." This is what happens when you have an educator in these spaces, an educator who understands the communities that she works with. this ain't on the show notes. The hell with the show notes right now. So I mean, again, like I say, I'm gonna get written notes or something anyway. So we'll talk about it because I really want people to understand. Because sometimes, I mean, you might not be somebody who's close to them, or they may be down in North Carolina or California and not be able to access you. But I want to make sure that they understand those characteristics and traits. So as they're looking for somebody in their space, they can be like, "Oh, you didn't correct on Lyndsae would have done that. You're not Lyndsae level. You're not here for me. You go ahead and get somebody else regular who want to carry more than $100 to closing. Okay, you get them. That's not me. I want a Lyndsae style. So that's all. I just wanted to point that out to him right there. Okay, we good? Are we good? Okay, I'm sorry.
We good.
I interrupted. I know, but I couldn't let that go.
No, you're fine. No, you're totally fine. That's important because our people need to know that, right? So, throughout that home buying process, there are things that you have to pay for before you even get to the closing table, right? You have to pay for your own appraisals. You have to pay for your own inspections, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. But he can't typically at the closing table, people are writing checks, cashier's checks, and or sending wire transfers in advance of thousands of dollars to go towards closing. So this was major. He received funding. One of our partners is Fulton Bank. So
big up to Fulton Bank too.
Yes.
Oh, you work with all the good people. Good people know good people. That's why I keep telling you.
Miss Dion and her team, Mr. Gary Edwards in the mortgage division, he takes care of our clients tapping into their down payment support along with all of the other program partners. So that was super, super awesome. And what was so special to me about this moment was that Brent is actually a fellow Howard alum. So we marched in the Howard University Showtime marching band together. So
cool.
To see him purchase his first home, through our program, moving from DC into the city of Baltimore, it just made for such a beautiful story. So
that's beautiful.
More people who look like us get into their homes.
Oh man, you should be doing all the stuff, helping all the people, doing all the stuff, making sure everybody get the stuff they need.
Glory.
Amen. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is that when people are looking at their finances, and sometimes they're thinking about like, oh, what should I do? Especially when it comes to either entrepreneurship and home ownership, and since those are kind of the halves that you really anchor into, I want to talk about them kind of together. A lot of times people are waiting until they're ready, until the research all makes sense, until they have all of the amount of money, all of the stuff that they need to move forward before they start. And so my experience has been that just doing something. Again, don't take all your money and just let me start everything. Like, no, if I'm going to open a restaurant, let me sell a hot dog today. Actually, one of my clients, what I told her was that because she was looking to purchase advertisement, or just not purchase, but sell advertisement. And I was telling her, I was like, look, first thing you do is you get somebody to sell, or you sell somebody $25 worth of advertising, just $25. She was like, $25 won't do that. No, we're not trying to do anything because we don't need to know how to do the stuff. Yeah. You need to know what it feels like to sell something. Mm-hmm. Because you got all the background. Once they give you money, you know what? You've been practicing that. You got that all day long. But you have not mastered the part of give them money. And if you start with the whole like, well, I want that, $15,000 contract. Yeah, go ahead and make the mistake on that one. That's the one that you want to learn on. Good job. Not I could cover drinks with that. The $25, I call Lyndsae, hey Lyndsae, I need you to advertise $25. You say no. Push come to shove, I just won't go to the bar a couple times and then be like, all right, here you go, 25.
Yeah.
But 15,000, now I need to know exactly what I'm doing. We don't have the opportunity for you to give me a chance to get to know.
Yeah.
And so as you were talking to people in the home buying, because that happens a lot in home buying too, like, well, I need to make sure I have all of my money. I got to get my credit score all the way up. I need to know about all the programs before I engage somebody, before I even call Lyndsae or a real estate agent. And like I said, that doesn't work on the side of, the business side of life. Is it good advice on the housing side, or should you do the same kind of thing about do something done?
My personal opinion is that when you know that this is something that you want to do, regardless of where you are right now, you want to contact somebody, because a lot of times people don't know that they're further along than what they really think. Because if you're not in the industry, if you don't really know the process, then you don't really know where you are, right? Because your credit score does not have to be perfect, right? You do not have to have a ton of money in the bank. You do need to have enough that,
Mhm.
when the lender is requesting bank statements, that you can cover, your down payment, closing costs, and still have a little bit over reserves to at least cover your mortgage, 1 or 2 prior to that. But I say always reach out to somebody, because sometimes for some people, they may have the requirements already met. They just need the extra push of encouragement. And that's
Mhm.
something that we need to also focus on within our community, is that because we have to go through a mindset shift,
Mhm.
period, when it comes to money. Sometimes, just like they need a mortgage lender to talk about the lending process, or a real estate agent to talk about the housing market, sometimes you just need a consultant to address your fears, because sometimes you're holding yourself back when you have the resources. So I say reach out to someone anyway, get the
Mhm.
let them tell you, okay, this is where you are, this is what works now, this is maybe what you need to do, so that they can also help you set realistic goals. Because if you're doing
Mhm.
it on your own, then you don't know how to create realistic goals. You don't really know what things need to look like, or what you might need to prepare for. So
Right.
regardless of where you are, even if your credit score is 500 right now, you have $2 in the bank, have a conversation, because it helps you to focus on that goal. It helps to give you some action items that you can kind of complete and check off. But also too, that person that you reached out to, I'm very sure that they're going to be a part of now your accountability circle. So tap
Mhm.
back in, hey, we caught up 3 months ago, we said that we
Right.
were going to work on XYZ. How are you? Where are you in the process?
Right.
Is there any support that you may need? Because what happens is, if you are just waiting to check your own boxes, right? Sometimes you're delaying the process, and or sometimes you just don't even do it. You decide to rent another 2, 3, 4, 5 years just because you didn't take any steps with someone else as well.
And one of the other things that you demonstrated, especially with your work with your friend from Howard, is that sometimes it's not just meeting these check boxes. It is understanding how it's not a checklist, it's a matrix. So
Yes,
if this is true, sometimes then this is true. Oh
yes,
yeah, if you don't have a lot of money, then absolutely you need to have a huge credit card.
right,
But if you have a shit ton of cash, you might
right,
be able to go. But if you don't know that, if you don't know when that's true. And so what we want, again, I'll talk about on the business side, you end up people getting good information that doesn't fit what they're talking about. So,
mm,
for example, one of my friends, friends and clients, because when you start really doing business, that
yeah,
line gets real blurred.
yeah,
So she was starting to include services. No, she went from services to some product. Yeah, services to some product. And what was happening is that she was trying to apply the appropriate profit margins for services to products. And it's like, no, you're right, you're well researched that
yeah,
this is the profit margin, that the standard or kind of expected profit margin in this field. But this is a new field.
hmm,
Still the same thing. So it was, the markup was supposed to be, I think on the product she was using like 100% markup, but she was back doing like 20-30 because that's what it was on the services side.
okay, that makes
So it's
sense.
still, again, just and again, I'm trying to see it. Is that the same thing?
Yeah,
Like if you do have services, like if you want to live in a condo, you may need XYZ.
right,
But if you were trying to live in a single family, you might not need XYZ, but you damn sure better have A. And,
right.
and, and, and that's one of the reasons you need to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yes, because there are differences, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Right, even just thinking about one difference between the HOA sometimes and purchasing, a
Oh
single
yeah,
family is, I'm sorry, a condo versus a single family. Sometimes it's HOA, right? So when you're in a condo, you
HOA, the HOA,
have
the
homeowners
HOA.
association. Yes, so when you own a condo, you have to pay that homeowners association, and sometimes even when you are in cul-de-sacs, right? When you're in
Yes.
communities, there are homeowners associations fees that you have to pay. But in a condo, they are going to be definitely much more than in like a cul-de-sac, for example.
Mm-hmm.
typically with your condo, that's going to cover, maintenance of your lawn, the outside that you don't have to take care of. That's so that your company, your HOA company, or whomever they hire as the property management for that community, so that they can take care of your properties inside, outside, those. So it's very, very, very important to have the great who have great partners, period. But especially when you're an entrepreneur, you absolutely need a financial dream team, right? You need to make sure that you have those resource partners at arm's length that you can pick up the phone and call when you need support. Sometimes just to have a brain dump your ideas, just sort out where you need to go or what things to consider in this moment. I feel like, us as a culture, we should not be doing anything financially alone. We should not, because the learning curve is already so deep, right? We need to make sure that we have people along the way who are experts in this field, whatever industry of finance that they're in, to really support you in your goals.
Now, that's one of the things you said. So we're going to talk about it. We might not keep it 100, but we're going to keep it 85.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of places, hell, I've worked at a couple of them, where they have people who go through 2-3 months of training. I literally not knocking them.
Yeah.
But I had this one friend of mine. I met him while I was in training, working for a financial institution. He was cut up like a bag of dope. He was a gym trainer or whatever, and that's what he was doing before he came to work at the bank. After our 3 months of training, he was now providing financial advice. And again, not knocking him, not making necessarily the correlation, but I want to make sure that people understand. Well, no, fuck that. I am making the correlation, okay? Because I knew him, and especially him as an example. Hell yeah, that's why I use him. He actually proves the point. But it wasn't about just the job that he had before, but it was the preparation around it. In his role up to that point, there was nothing to help him figure out what a P&L was, how it actually worked.
Yeah.
And/or sorry. My bad, and/or sorry. You good?
I'm good.
Can
I
you
had
see me?
to message you that you were frozen.
Can you see me?
Yep, I got you. I'm here. You're here.
Okay, cool. I was maybe nervous for a second. All right, so I was like, I know him, and I know that he wasn't good at that place. He didn't understand P&L. He didn't understand. Basically, he understood marketing. And his sales skills were phenomenal. Like, I take nothing away from that guy. Like, and the other part was that he didn't mind being that sales guy either.
Yeah.
So give you a sense of who he was. He told me this time that one of the things that he would do at the gym is he would walk people around to see the equipment and have the spiel, and then he'd bring them into his office. He closed the door. He had a mirror on the back. He said, "Do me a favor, take your shirt off and look at yourself in the mirror." And when people would hesitate, he said, "That feeling right there, I don't want you to ever feel that again. That right there, I want." And it was just like, and I'm sitting there like, I want to, I want to. But and again, taking the shame that they feel, taking all of those things to flip them over into a gym membership.
Yeah, that's good.
But again, I was like, shocked. Like, you ain't even talking to me, and you work at the bank now, and I want to go to that gym and work out a little bit. but so you end up with, and I'm sorry, this is what happens. See, when you know somebody, like, we just having a conversation, figure we ain't on the phone.
Right.
But this is what happens is that you have a good sales guy with a great brand behind him, or Fortune 500 financial institution, Fortune, I think it was like Fortune 100 by that time, and so it looks like the expectation for financial success. Everything about that look suggests, and especially when I have my Series 6 and 63 licenses, along with being licensed in life and health, insurance under the state of Maryland. That sounds impressive. I took 3 tests, 3 months of training. Give me your money. Let me tell you what to do to prepare for you and your children's future. So then I'm specifically painting this picture of it.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that we talk to people about why it's important that the people you know or the people you work with have experience, that they have a level of credentials. Now, don't get it all twisted with credentials, because I've seen that same thing happen too. People with a bunch of degrees that don't know nothing.
Yeah.
But this is also why and how we need to be more careful, because you end up talking to that guy, he will do a great job and sell you whatever. But if you need help maintenance or figure out what to do next, he's going to give you another sales pitch, because that's all he has to offer.
Yeah.
So I went a long way. It was a long walk, but all that to say, what do we even do to prepare?
This was the perfect lineup for me, right? So I'm over here itching. I'm like, all right. I'm ready to jump in now, right? So, first of all, we keeping it 85.
Keep it 85.
You cannot trust every person in this industry, whether they look like you or not, right? Because of that notion right there. There are not a ton of requirements sometimes for you to be in these positions. If you can pass the test, which some people aren't necessarily learning content. Some people are just great test takers. Some people can just memorize things just for the sake of answering the questions and passing the test. And to be honest, you have a lot of people in the industry who are really here just for a check, because it's also not super hard and difficult to get in certain elements of the financial services industry, right? Like, I became a part-time teller while I was a student at Howard University. All I really needed was customer service experience and a little bit of cash handling, right? And technically, as a teller, you're not necessarily giving financial advice. However, you have to still learn how to give financial advice.
Absolutely. What kind of accounts should I get? How do I avoid late fees?
Right.
What can I do? Because I get my daughter and she need to have access to this account, but I don't want to make sure her son don't have access to it. And that got tax implications all over it.
And see, spending, a number of years. So I've served, most people, if you don't know, I've served in almost every role within the retail banking space. I started as a part-time teller. I was promoted every single year while I was at the bank. So part-time teller to customer sales and service representative, which was a hybrid position between a banker and a teller. I was promoted to a personal banker, then promoted to a business banker, and then promoted to a branch manager and business development officer. And what I've learned working for, at least 2 large financial institutions, and really just getting to know people, everybody's not there for the right reasons, right? Technically, you want everybody to be in the position who want to help people with their finances, who want to teach you how to get out of debt, how to purchase your home, how to do all these things, how to invest, etc. But some bankers are literally there to collect a check to support whatever they're doing on the outside. Like you speak about, just like you mentioned that guy, that trainer, right? I know people that I used to work alongside who would literally just come to work, to do the bare minimum to collect their check so that when they get off, they can go and pursue their entrepreneurial dreams. I'm not faulting them. I'm not blaming anybody, right? However, when you think about what our people need and the lack of what we have access to sometimes we don't even have good people. Sometimes we want help and we just don't have good people who know what they're doing. And that was a big piece that I've taken from the industry, and especially because when you're working for, especially traditional banking institutions that are for profit, they are for profit and they do want you to be salesmen. And you and I had this conversation a number of years ago. You said something about bankers being salesmen. I'm like, that's not me. And I would tell my manager, I am not a salesman. I am an educator. I am here to teach my people how to do XYZ, how to reach their financial goals, how to really prepare themselves to create a legacy for their family. I'm not here to sell you a product or a service. I'm here to make a recommendation, and sometimes that does result in a sale if it's for something that they need. However, you have people out here that will sell you anything just because, commissions are potentially involved, their quarterly bonus.
Yes.
Be involved, they're trying to hit branch goals, in which that is definitely a thing.
No, absolutely.
And for me, it's always been a little complicated because I operate from my heart, and this is the work that I love to do. I just happen to work for these financial institutions that gave me a brand to represent, but I was always an entrepreneur. I was very intentional about my role. I was out in the community, pounding the pavement, giving this information to the people. You just don't have a lot of people out there that are like that. Like you just do not. So a lot of times what I tell people, when you are looking to build your financial dream team, when you're looking to find that accountant, that business banker, that attorney, insurance agent, financial advisor, et cetera. When you're looking to source them, sometimes you want to start within your internal network, right?
Absolutely.
What business owners do you have, that loves their financial partner and who can make a recommendation, right? Also, what just other centers of influences, what COIs do you know who can make a direct, recommendation that warrants referral, or what organizations that you're a part of that house these professionals? Like what chambers of commerce are you involved in? Because with every chamber, specifically because we focus on business owners, there are financial people in a part of that chamber. I promise you, because you are there, right? So figuring out who's involved in what and making those connections, because what I've learned is that a lot of people, especially in the financial services industry, who really want to do this work, to really educate people, to really grow within their profession, but taking care of their clients, find them doing extracurricular activities. You find them as members of chambers of commerce. You find them on members of nonprofit boards. You find them at these community events.
Yeah.
You want somebody who's in the community that you can see, because that a lot of times that shows you where their heart is, where their mind is, and that shows you how they're going to take care of you, right?
Right.
And another thing to really think about too is you want to get to know a little bit about them, their personal experience, but also business, professional experience. You want to talk to them about the business owners that they have supported, what type of financial goals have they assisted people with? And they don't have to mention names, of course, for privacy reasons, but they can talk to you about their experience. I say you want to vet people out, just like you vet out anybody else. You want to vet out your financial partners. You also want to know about if they're an entrepreneur themselves, if they have entrepreneurial experience, because I'll be honest, when I was serving in the role of a branch manager and business development officer, I had not yet been in business for myself. So I could give practical advice. I could teach them what I was taught, but it's also very different when you have people in it, where their feet are in it, and they can give you that personal experience. So when you have education plus personal experience, like coupled together in a person like me, especially now that I've been, a full-time entrepreneur for the last 18 months, that creates a very different dynamic. It makes a difference who you have a part of your team. It makes a difference, a big difference.
Now, one of the things that you said about working with large companies, it goes for some small businesses as well. And I think some of it is that as consumers, in many cases, we buy the marketing. We buy that the company actually cares about them. Hell, I know I joke a lot of times when people are like, oh, the human resources people are going to help you. It's like, that the person that you're concerned about, like if you have a complaint, I'm going to human resources, the person that you're concerned about signs their check too.
Yeah.
And we have this expectation that there is a mutually beneficial relationship. Yeah. And what it is less a mutually beneficial relationship, in my experience, and more of a symbiotic relationship. And there is a difference for me than that too. When I say mutually beneficial, there is a level of genuine mutuality between it, not just so actually let me tell you the story, because again, we keep it 85. I was in therapy and I was like, doc, I just want like a symbiotic relationship with somebody, where I give and they give. They need me, they need me, I need them, and we're able to stay together because we're meeting each other's needs. And he kind of said, well, that's not a really healthy relationship. And I was like, hey, man, this guy's a quack, okay? This guy's a quack. Because I've studied love and I've read all the books and listened to the songs, read the poems, and this is exactly what everybody is talking about. So I'm done with therapy. I knew I didn't need this anyway. And I said, but you know what? Because I'm arrogant, I got some hubris with me. I need to correct him before I leave. So I'm gonna go ahead, do some research, and I'm gonna come back to his office and then let him know why I'm leaving. Because I don't want you to do this to anyone else, okay? Because clearly, so I went to the Google lady. I said, "Excuse me, Google lady, tell me about symbiotic relationships." Ooh, the first one was like, okay, well, that's a random web page. You know what I mean? It said it was bad, but it was like a random web page. It was like this doctors. I was like, well, you got people who say, hell, if Google was back then, you'd have had doctors that say black people came from apes. So you can write anything on the internet. So I was like, American Psychological Association. How about them? Symbiotic relationship, one of the most toxic demons. Only behind codependent relationship. Because the reason that there's a symbiotic relationship is that there is need.
Yeah,
that is how capitalism works. But when the needs of one change, the entire dynamic of the relationship is gone. So the relationship has to be redefined. And if only one partner's needs change, whether that's an increase or a decrease, the relationship by definition has to fail. Yeah. Whereas a mutual, and because their relationship is defined around their needs. Yeah. I'm talking about a mutually beneficial relationship where it's defined around the giving. I don't need to be around Lyndsae to feel necessary. Like, Lyndsae, where are you at? What are you doing? When are you coming over? Are you coming back soon? I don't need that. But I want to be around Lyndsae. I want to give you my attention and my time. And when it's gone, we can still have a relationship because you don't need that.
Right.
It is a gift as opposed to a requirement. And what we don't realize is that when we look in the commercial space, it's all just requirement. Like if you're a volunteer, then that's given. Yeah. But otherwise, it's pimping unadulteratedly. And just like watch this. Oh, because we have not done a full episode on pimping in the corporate world. Oh my God. Because it's not just me, so I have to talk to other people before we go into it too deeply. But what I can say here though, is that in these kind of commercial relationships, the power dynamic is all about that, because you don't do it just because. It's like I'm not walking a track in a short skirt just because I think this is so fun. This is how I spend my vacay. No, it's like because I need money. Yeah. If I had other options, I would not be doing this. And that's why when I talk about the parallels between pimping and business, there's not a lot that's dissimilar. Because when you look at it from that perspective, if there was someone who was going to either go to a prostitute or purchase something for Amazon, and they said, oh, all right, Lyndsae, he loves me, and you know how I know? Man, he makes time every Friday night from 9 to 10 is my time every Friday, and he don't even charge me till afterwards. That's oh my god, as opposed to like I only see him like once a month. I mean, it's totally free and voluntary, but it's only once a month. Like, which is the relationship you want? And honestly, for some people, they want the first one. It's like, no, I need consistency. I need to know that you're there. And in the commercial context, that's what we pay for. That's why these companies are just trying to get money out to you. The same reason that the hoe wants you to believe that you're loved. I don't do this for anyone else. Just you. Normally, or if I do, I normally charge them extra.
Yeah.
But not you, baby. End scene. Okay.
End scene.
Yeah, sorry. That's gonna get a show note. That's gonna get a show note. That's gonna get a whole show note.
At least right?
Yeah, it's not even surprising anymore. It's like, yeah, no, I did that. Yeah, no, I did that.
Got it. Noted. Right.
Yeah, once it happened, I knew it was going to come up. So, and I even said it on the show, so I get it. Yeah. Right. And plus, this makes the debrief a lot easier because I've already done this part for them, so they don't have to say, no. Remember, like, look, no. At 48 minutes, remember that I was totally contrite, so I learned my lesson. So we don't have to write it down this time, do we? Do we have to write it down? We're gonna write it down anyway. They're gonna write it down anyway. They always write it down.
It's to remind you. It's for you.
That's what it's for. Yeah. That's what it's for. It's not long-term documentation to show a pattern of behavior and then in case there's needs for a lawsuit. Not that. No. Don't get it twisted. I recognize I'm a hoe. I don't believe that I'm a wife. Daddy.
And something I want to throw out there is that, especially as a former employee of financial institutions, they need to invest in a more complex type of training for their professionals in certain spaces, because you're right. A lot of times you can go through training. Some training is only 2 weeks, like making sure that you learn the systems, making sure that you learn potentially the types of products, but not even how you can strategically use them. I think that these institutions need to do a little bit more work in providing in-depth training. A lot of times they just want to get you in and out of training so that you can immediately get on the floor and start selling. That's really what happens. Right.
Thank you for the way that you phrased that. Because my question is, if you going back to the pimp metaphor, because what it sounds like is that they need to teach these hoes how to love. They need to spend more time helping them become more emotionally developed so that they can love us better and understand our needs and really help us meet those needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get married. You don't need to. You don't need to. You should be here. But that's what it is. Then that's what. Okay, so. Kingdom Visions is more wifey material than
definitely
because it's like whoa, because your money helps, but it ain't gonna be definitive. Like we need a relationship because you might have some big money, but you may not get nothing here. Oh, you know what? I am patting myself on the back because there was a whole other metaphor that I did not take.
Progress.
That'd have been a show note and a fine. That would have been a show note and a fine. I tell you what.
And not a fine.
Yeah, that's some questions. Anyway,
stay on the naughty list.
Separate issue. But the issue, the reason that they don't is why would they? Yeah. They don't. Their stock shareholders don't care about customer satisfaction unless it leads to. Because the only reason they care about customer satisfaction is that leads to sales and retention. If they didn't have to satisfy customers, I mean, you know what? Whoop. These companies are like deadbeat dudes. It's like, I mean, she gonna whatever it takes to get her. Like, what do I gotta do?
And the thing is that for them, they, to be honest, right, 85%, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make more money from clients who are uneducated because you have those clients who are paying more in
relationships. You can get more with you don't know about locking your screen. Oh yeah, no, you don't need to know nothing.
You don't know how to avoid overdrafts. You don't know how to waive your monthly service fees.
No. You listen to all your friends, like they try to see they ain't with no real bank. You know what I'm saying? They ain't with no real bank. You know what I'm saying? They got them little CD ass ads and stuff like that. I'm saying we have real bank. We have real bank money. You know what I'm saying? We have real bank rules.
You are a mess. I'm gonna pause for yourself right now. And this is something that we are working on. I've been told that when you put out there that helps, that allows people to hold you accountable, right? Something that we want to do within our firm is to develop a package for financial institutions, right? For us to come in and actually train those bankers, branch managers, et cetera, financial advisors on how to cater specifically to our company. Because how to cater specifically to our community, right? How do you actually educate a person of color who had poor money management for their entire lives because their parents had it, their grandparents had it, right? It's a generational.
I'm sorry, no, not just and every institution in their fucking community insist on it and perpetuate it.
On it, right?
Because guess what? Because again, I say 80, and I'll do 90 right now. Because the more you know about money and how, because then you could look at the building fund and see where that money went. Now you can start looking at your tax returns and looking at the the church's budgets and stuff, and understand like, well, wait a minute, why does that? Why does the P&L say that?
Yep. So we are working on, a partnership, where we can go in and teach those professionals how to cater to our communities, because a lot of institutions are developing, minority services, or they might call it underbanked, or underserved, right? They have segmentation within their bank that focuses on that population, but the bankers, the people in the roles, don't know how to cater to us. They don't know how to educate us, and they also don't know how to lead with empathy, right? Because you got to think about the clients who are coming into the institution anyway, right? A lot of them are ashamed, embarrassed. They have not had these types of conversations, so they're already coming in apprehensively. And when you have someone who's not warm and soft sometimes, who does not know how to lead with empathy, you shut it down. And sometimes that's that in that moment, you ruin that person's relationship, sometimes for the rest of their lives, right?
Absolutely.
50, 60 years old who still, use a mattress, right, for their money because of a bad experience 30 years ago, or because of a bad experience that their parent had and their parent told them, you don't even want to mess with a bank anyway.
Do we talk about the monkey example? Because we near the end of time. I got time for like one more example or something. But you know what? I'm gonna save it for the next time we together. I'm gonna save it because you know what I want to do. I want to make sure that we that we leave this last bit of time up so that people understand how they can stay in contact with you. So like, you get it to them slow and let them know, like, spell it out if you got to, because they need to know how they can stay in contact. Because again, not just because you're my friend. I want to be clear about that, because I have other friends who are in financial services and they're shitty, so I don't bring them on and refer people to them. Like, really, I mean, they're good people, but like I wouldn't send nobody to them for like help on what they do.
Right.
And I'm not mentioning nobody's name, so okay. So nobody even say I'm saying nothing, but I'm saying, but I am very, as much as I would not refer them, I also want to make sure people understand that when I find people who do good shit, that I highlight them and people know how to get in touch with them. Because it's in, let me make sure that people understand it's not all altruistic and stuff like that. Because I'm trying to create a positive association between you and her too, so y'all think better of me. Don't get it twisted. This is all mind games, okay? All right, this is why I know good people and I stay with good people, so y'all think I'm good too. So if ever there needs to be testimony, you can legitimately say, I never thought he would do that. He knows such great people. That's why I don't bring the other ones on. This is gonna be another show note. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I take it too far. Okay, tell them about you. Tell them how they can contact. I'm gonna turn my mic on.
So listen, you can absolutely follow me on Instagram at LPeele, Peele, The Real Deal. You can also follow our company at Kingdom Vision Consult on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. You can go to our website, kingdomvisionconsult.com, and shoot us an email at info@kingdomvisionconsult.com. I'm sure you guys see that on the screen. And our contact number is 410-870-5590. We want to help you.
Look at that. Look at making sure everybody got what they know. I'm so excited when you come to the show. I love it. So, but this time I also try to be impressive and have that little info and keep the song ready. Oh my God! Like y'all don't understand. We have such great fun. I'm trying to get to IHOP again, but it's whatever. That was an ignorant day, and the lady was like, "Oh wow, you are still here." Okay, but that was their fault for having the funnel cake pancakes. Nobody told them to do that.
Nobody told them to be happy, right? The nerve.
No, but again, if this is what your marketing decides to do to make me happy, recognize the cost that it comes with. I will behave entertained. Okay. All right.
I appreciate you so much, Will. So much for you for the
No problem. Hey, make sure that you all remember it's April 28th. April 28th, and you'll see the link in the description on how you can go to the event. KingdomVisionConsult.com. Make sure you check it out.
Thank
Did I do good?
You did great. And April 30th, if you're interested in purchase a home in Baltimore City, from 10 to 12, we will be in the metaverse.
Yeah, make sure I have that link too. Like when you get on, just text me, email me all the links. I'll make sure they get added in so everybody can get there. And I might even try to add them into that. No, that's too much. I I ain't gonna overpromise because that might be an under deliver on that.
All right, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. We working through this thing here. It's okay.
Amen. All right. Have a great one.
I appreciate you. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right. Bye. I told you all I knew dope people. As always, we had a great time with Lyndsea Peele, making sure that our people are educated about financial services, real estate, and how to prepare, especially for entrepreneurs of color. So again, I know dope people, and I'm glad I can help you all meet them as well. Wow, what's happening? Oh, I think tomorrow. Constance Craig Mason? Or is that James? Actually, I think it's Constance Craig Mason is coming tomorrow. And she's also going to talk to us about financial literacy and Black women. All right. We'll be Black tomorrow.